All right, let's talk a little bit of footy. Melbourne Storm football manager Frank Ponissi, one of the greats, is joining us. As you said, Heels, they're resting. God, how many are they resting? 10? Will Frank even travel with the team? It's a question worth asking. Morning, Frank.
Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. Are you going north, or are you going to join the rest of them not going up to Townsville?
No, with the weather as it is up there, I'm definitely going to head north, Paddy. I want to take full advantage of the great weather and get out of Melbourne.
There'll be a lot of players left behind in Melbourne that you should be looking after, mate. Congratulations, Frank, on coveting the minor premiership for a start and winning it once again.
Thanks, Hills. Yeah, it was a bit unexpected, to be brutally honest, to win it last Saturday. We didn't think that Penrith would drop another game against the Raiders, and that's certainly nothing against the Raiders. They are down in Canberra, obviously always difficult to beat, but Penrith's a different opposition, and so when we saw that scoreline before we ran on the field, we were quite surprised. I mean, the intention last weekend was to win and cement a top 2 spot, but yeah, it was a nice bonus to get, especially at home too, which is important. We could celebrate with our fans, but then probably draw a line on it and move on because there's bigger and better things ahead in September.
I tell you what, it says a lot about the club, though, and I mean, so much has been written and said about your role and Bellyache's role, but it's just 6 minor premierships since 2011. That's some sort of feat, mate.
Yeah, it is, and it's something in our game, I suppose, doesn't get acknowledged the way it should. And you talk about the Premier League, and the first past the post is the title, but having said that, we wouldn't want it anyway either. I mean, the thrills of winning a grand final on grand final day is something special, and it's something that all players and all coaches and all officials strive for. But yeah, to win a minor premiership, it's about consistency over a long season, and the season seems to be getting longer too, Paddy. It's getting harder and harder. They start sooner than they had before, and they seem to just finish a little bit later, so they've got more games. So it's a great feat, but we've learnt before in the past that we've won minor premiership, and that doesn't equate to success in September, and that's something that this group is very determined to make sure that we use this opportunity to do something special in September.
Yeah, and I mean, you get the chance, and you've earned the right to pick who you want, basically, for the next couple of rounds. And when you're looking at a 4-hour flight up to Townsville, I mean, you can take whoever you like up there. There's been some debate about it being disrespectful and all that sort of thing, but I tend to believe that the club has earned the right to do what they like. How many will you take up? Who are you likely to rest? Will Hughes, for example, be given a break? Will Harry Grant be given a break?
Yeah, look, it's a fair debate, but at the same time, as you said, it's not just about earning the right, which we definitely have, but it's about peaking ready for September and being the best possible. We've won the last 2 premierships, won in 2019 and 2021. We actually didn't make the grand final, and that burns, and you remember that. So you got to learn from why we didn't make those grand finals in those 2 particular years where we had dominant seasons similar to this year. And one thing we believe that the ability to rest players and go in fresh. It's a 5-day turnaround from last Saturday to Thursday night against the Cowboys. So, but there are some players, players like Munster, for example, he'll play. I mean, he needs to play. He's missed a lot of football. So it's a case by case. Who's played how many minutes they've played, how many matches, who needs a spell, and Craig will finalise that soon today. And having said that, we're not going up there to make numbers either. We're going to take the 17 again. Yep. Certainly strive for a win. I mean, there's no Craig Bellamy team that goes out and just participates. We go out to compete and try to win, and that's exactly what that 17 will do on Thursday night. We're certainly not going to roll over for the Cowboys.
Some players you can only imagine. I've got this opportunity. Let's go. What about coaching announcements, Frank? Has there been anything announced about Craig's tenure as the coach? All the the speculation last year has just gone quiet.
He goes year to year, and then we're talking about earned the right, and he has earned the right. He's got a contract now where basically each year early in the season, he lets the club know whether he will go another year, and he did that, I think, in about April, May, I think, from memory. He'll do again next year, so I think how he feels at the beginning of each year and whether he can do another season. Personally, I think he's got a couple more left in him, but time will tell. But he's certainly not slowing down, that's for sure, and he's certainly enjoying it. You can see the passion in him. He's not losing the fire in the belly either. So I think he's got a few more years to come, but who knows with Craig, he might at one stage pull it all together, but he'll definitely be here in 2025, which is great for the football club.
Yeah, that's fantastic. A couple of photos I've seen of you online, Frank. I know you've been a police officer, whatever, have had Saints shirts on. Can you remind me again what that was?
The Saints shirts.
Yeah.
No, you've lost me there.
Must be another
around
Frank.
the Storm?
Might be another Ponissi. Like Saints logo on the left chest.
Oh, well, many years ago, way back in, this is an old photo, I did a few years coaching over at Northampton Saints. I did a couple of years of rugby union in the mid-2000s. I went over and did a couple in France, and then I did a couple in England at a club called Northampton Saints. But no, that's about as much.
Yeah.
That's as much Saints I've had on me over the last 20 or so years.
Well, they thought you were quite a good-looking man because they photographed you a lot.
Anyway, I'll have to look that up myself. But no, it's been here a long time now, and certainly enjoying it. Like Craig, I think I've got a few more years left. But while you enjoy it, you may as well continue.
Nice.
As I say.
Hey, a little update on Coates and Anderson. How are they?
Yeah, Grant Anderson will play on Thursday night, which is great. He's come back from concussion, which is great. He's been a revelation for us this year. Not just the way he's played, but he's played in so many positions, and he's going to be a valuable player in the finals for us. They're going to be able to cover a few positions. Xavier is probably a week short. There was talk of playing him this Thursday. We'll probably hold him off for a week, and he'll play against the Broncos next Thursday night, which will give him a full game going into the finals, and he's going to be a really welcome addition. We know what he can do. He's an ex-player who can score remarkable tries and out of nothing. So you need those in big games come September. So his timing couldn't be better for us.
Well, this question may interest some of our listeners in Brisbane. I mean, while you are going to rest against the Cowboys, what are the plans for Brisbane, mate?
At this stage, we'll be playing our best team against the Broncos. I think, certainly the players not playing this weekend will definitely play. We wouldn't go into the finals on the back of 2 weeks rest. So, I think the main reason we're resting this week is purely because of the 5-day turnaround and going to Townsville. Had it been a 7-day turnaround, we probably would have played our best team this week and rested the Broncos. But it's just the way it is. The 5-day turnaround, we thought it was best to give the players a rest now and have the final head out, before the finals against the Broncos.
Oh, it's very solid thinking, no question about it. Frank, do you reckon, has Melbourne Storm officially made it in Melbourne?
I think so, Heels. I think it's, I just had to see last Saturday night, we had a sold-out crowd. There was just over 26,000. There's a lot of interest in the team in the city, and it's been built up for a while. The foundations were set really early with John Rebo and Chris Johns, and Chris Anderson, had success from day one. And but certainly, we're certainly well accepted here in Melbourne. We're not a threat to the AFL. I mean, as we all know, the AFL here in Melbourne is just it's a religion, and so we're never going to compete at that level. But we're averaging over 20,000 this year for our crowds for the first time in our history. Well over 36,000, getting I think over 40,000 actually for members. So we're really proud of that. Sponsorship, the club's doing well. We're really pleasing. The last 2 years we've really set up our pathways, and we've got a great pathways now. There's an under-17s all the way now to NRL for Melbourne Storm. The game's been played a lot here in Melbourne. There's over 5,000 juniors. So to answer your question, I think the club's really established over 25 or so years, and it's great for the game of rugby league. And when State of Origin comes down, like we've had this year, full house at MCG. So certainly to think where the game was many years ago to where it's now, I think is very pleasing for not just the Melbourne Storm, but for the game of rugby league.
Yeah, that's brilliant news. Hey, what are your thoughts about the week off, a la AFL before finals? You just said at the start of this interview that the league season seems to be getting longer and longer and longer. Is there a way around of that? Do we cut the number of rounds down and give the 8 finalists a week off before they go into finals?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Paddy. I'm not too sure. I know in the AFL, and we have a lot to do with a lot of the AFL clubs down here, and I know it's not a real popular thing in terms of it just seems to slow the momentum. Like the last weekend, it was so exciting down here in the AFL, all the games, and now there's just a lull. So it's probably just stretches the season out by another week. I personally don't like it. I think I like it the way we are at the moment. I think it's the fairest system. Yes, you're going to have potential where teams may rest players, but look, it's just the way it is. I wouldn't want to see it go another week, and we'd be finishing the second week of October, or having to start in February the competition. Which, if we drop the game, perhaps yes, but certainly not add another week. I think that the season's too long it is now, so I'm in favour of actually reducing the competition rather than increasing it.
Yeah, okay. And another big departing congratulations, mate. You've made your season longer than it has been normally by doing such a great job in the Origin camp. How was that?
Oh, it was marvellous, Heels. I really enjoyed it. It was working with Michael Maguire. I had the pleasure working with Madge here when I first got the Storm here in 2008, 2009. He did an incredible job just bringing the side together and bringing the state together, and it was just a marvellous series. Even game one for everything, we lost the player early, and the MCG experience was something I'll never forget. And of course, who can ever forget game 3 at Suncorp? And to be part of that game is something pretty special. But no, I really enjoyed it. It's something that's totally different from your normal day-to-day role here at the Storm, but something that I'll never forget. And I've just it was a privilege to be asked to do it, and I enjoyed every moment of it.
Well, I'm not sure I've enjoyed the last 10 minutes, to tell you the truth. You've told me you're bringing your top team up here to Brisbane next week, and then Healy throws you a little line to talk about and crow about the state of origin.
Well, it's been that long since New South Wales could fly the flag, so we may as well make the most of it, Paddy. So whilst we're holding the shield, we'll make the most of it, but that'll stop soon, and I know Madge is into planning already for next year. So the aim now is to go back to back. So, but anyway, that's what we'll put on Origin on hold for a couple more months, and just worry now about a great final series coming up.
Exactly right. All right, mate. Good. Really appreciate your time as always, and congratulations what you and Craig have done with this footy side, and may there be much more success right through September.
Thanks, Paddy. Thanks, you.
Yeah, Frank Ponissi there, the legendary Melbourne Storm footy manager. Joining us for Roadie Meats, the high-quality, family-owned, award-winning butchers. They are brilliant. Go out and check them out at Roadie Meats. You can check them out on Instagram and Facebook.